My name is Imran Nuri, and I'm the founder and CEO of the 52 Million Project, a 501c3 nonprofit going after a long-term vision of engaging 1 million people and donating just $1 per week. When our donors give $1 a week, it goes to a different nonprofit fighting poverty every single week. And this week's beneficiary is Relief Nursery, an Oregon nonprofit who's set to receive over $600 from us, thanks to our 610 active donors and counting. With us here today is Kelly Sutherland, the executive director for Relief Nursery, and Jennifer Solomon, the director of philanthropy at Relief Nursery. Welcome, Kelly and Jennifer.
Well, thank you. Hi.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here, and we're so excited to be able to support Relief Nursery this week. Just yesterday I got an email from one of our donors saying that she was crying listening to and learning more about what you do, and so I think one of my favorite parts about doing this podcast has been being able to share the passion and the enthusiasm of the nonprofit leaders who are we're running the nonprofits we support with everyone who's supporting 52 Million Project. So getting right into it, tell me more about what Relief Nursery does.
Well, thank you so much. And we love making connections in our media community and the vast community. And so we really appreciate this. What I can tell you about Relief Nursery is we are a child abuse and neglect prevention organization. Our work is focused on child development, social and emotional development, and then parent support. All of our families are low income and have multiple risk factors, which cause them to be eligible for our programs. And we do not charge for any of our services.
That's incredible. Well, tell me more about why you're so passionate about this work in particular. It's a really interesting thing. I know that when I was looking into what you do, you focus on children who are at risk before the age of 5, and I'd love to hear you tell me more about why that's so important to get to them before they reach that age.
Well, what I can tell you is why I'm so passionate, and I know Jennifer and the entire team here is we get to do two things. One, we intervene immediately and we mitigate crisis. And we then in the long term, we know what happens to these children if we don't intervene early. There's a very familiar trajectory where they end up in foster care. Foster care, they're more likely to be in juvenile justice. Juvenile justice, they're more likely to be in the criminal justice system. And so we see this, and then we're able to interrupt that trajectory. We're able to interrupt the intergenerational cycle of abuse. And we're able to help families right now that need us. So that's where my passion comes from.
And our programs work. We are really excited that 97% of our families leave our program and they never have another child abuse report filed against them. And I think that's an excellent testimony to the work that our staff does with these families. These families come to us, they want help, and they engage in the services that we have to offer, and then they turn around and they go and they make that work in their own lives. It's a great story. And in fact, our model started here in Eugene 45 years ago already, and it has been replicated in 31 other communities in Oregon. So other communities see what we're doing, they want to invest in their families, and so they're taking our model into their local communities and making it work.
Yeah, when I saw the 97% success rate, and I saw that was in comparison to a 50% success rate nationwide, it's really incredible to know that Relief Nursery is setting that example for the entire country and how things can and should be done. And we're really proud to be able to support you, and we're congratulate you on amazing results. So tell me more about what a $600 donation does for the children and the families that you serve.
Great. Well, one of the things that our services, we have a comprehensive array of services, both the child-centered and then the parent-centered, and then home visiting is a part of this as well. But we do a lot of these extra events, like one, for example, called Family Fun and Food Night. And we invite the parents with all the children in the home, not just the children we're serving, to the nursery for a fun evening without alcohol or drugs. A lot of our parents are in recovery, and it's hard for them to find places to go with their children. So we invite the entire family. We could have up to 300 people at the nursery for these events. We prepare a special meal. And then we have usually a literacy or an event component to it. So if we had a little event where they went out in the garden and they planted, all of the families would go home with a book for their child about planting or gardening and that kind of thing. And so that event, we would provide transportation to the families should they need it, a warm meal, and this literacy event, a fun evening, and then a book to take home. What's interesting is that our families, all of them, by the end of the month, their supplementary food income has dwindled, and they're hungry, and they need food and meals. And so that's one of the components, a breakdown of a barrier, where we'll provide transportation and a meal to help the parents do the things they need to do. Another thing, $600 will pay for would be an evening for Parents for Recovery, which is a drug and alcohol recovery support class, transportation for the parent and child, childcare, and a meal for both. Same for our parenting education classes. So these are the kinds of things that we believe set us apart from other organizations and other programs, and that make us so successful. We invite the families in and break down barriers to them receiving the help that they need and they want.
Yeah, I love hearing about that, because it's those details that matter. It's those details that lead to that 97% success rate. And I know, Jennifer, I think you were about to add something as well.
Well, one thing that I especially appreciate about these family-centered events is the fact that it's helping to get through the isolation that so many of our families experience, and which has been absolutely exacerbated in the last year. But these parents are all just really struggling. They want to be the best parents that they can be, but they, again, are isolated. So here at Relief Nursery, they can meet other parents that are experiencing the same struggles that they are. So they don't have to feel so alone, and they can build their own network of support as they go forward and leave Relief Nursery and go out into the world.
Yeah, I can't imagine how important and valuable that support network is in the long run too, right? Not just for the times that they're in the class together with that Relief Nursery, but as they continue those relationships where people can empathize with where they are, where they've been, and where they're going.
And one thing that's really neat is that we have at all of the nurseries, we have a clothing closet. So we accept donations from the community, and then we have this closet, and it draws. Sometimes that's how we meet families. They come in and they need something, and we're able to provide support in that way, and then they're introduced through our programs. Or they'll come back after they've received services and make donations themselves to stay connected with the nursery. And we love seeing families that have their children have moved on into kindergarten, and the parents have retained custody or regained custody, and are still clean and sober all this time later. And they come back, and just to say thank you, will drop off things for us to share with other families that we're serving at the time. And so it's really just it's a really wonderful place to be.
Yeah, it comes full circle, and
Yes.
that's amazing. That's very inspiring. So I have one last question for you that we love to ask to all of our nonprofits, because there's so many different ways to support nonprofits, in addition to donations. And sometimes it's not just about supporting specific nonprofits, but the cause that they are working towards. So my last question for you is, how can someone who's listening or watching at home do more to support the work that Relief Nursery is doing?
I'm sure Jennifer will have an answer to that too, but you're right. It could start locally here in our community with volunteering. We love volunteers. We use volunteers in every single one of our programs. They're a critical component of our organization and our success. We have fundraising events that you could participate in, and now with virtual, anybody across the country can participate. But another thing that anyone can do is to continue to advocate for children, and continue to advocate for early learning environments and programs that support the social and emotional development of children in the earliest years of their lives, and programs that intervene both for the child and the parent at that time in their life. This is the time when it makes the most difference. During this age, the children are developing very quickly, and to support trauma-informed and trauma-centered work and programs. Those are some of the things I think of when you ask how other people can support our cause.
And as Director of Philanthropy, I think I would be remiss if I did not mention that we have a legacy giving program that we are looking to the future to help fund Relief Nursery sustainably in long into the future. And so that's the work that I do. And then Kelly mentioned about supporting our events. We do have an event going on right now. It's our lip sync battle. It's our 5th one. It's hosted by our leadership board, which is a group of younger leaders in the community. And their goal is to fund our parenting education program. And so that's going on. It will be live on April 7th. But again, we just have lots of different ways throughout the year where we have different events and fundraising, and folks can always support us on our website.
The lip sync on the April 7th, you could link through it on our website and find out about it, because it's a virtual event. So anyone, anywhere, that wouldn't just be a local event, but it's really is fun. This year it had to change up a little bit with COVID, do some pre-recording and that kind of thing, but it's still just, and we love to engage the community and bring them along in our efforts. And that's what's part of the fun is we have multiple boards and volunteers that are committed to what we're doing and show up all the time. So.
That's the fun of, that's the fun of everything being so virtual. And I guess one of the good things that's happened in the past year is that, well, now someone who's here in our home base of Columbus, Ohio, can participate in a lip sync for a nonprofit that's doing incredible work in Oregon, across the country. And it's just amazing. So thanks so much, Kelly and Jennifer. And thanks again to each and every one of our donors for empowering a different nonprofit fighting poverty every single week, just like Relief Nursery. If you're not already a donor, go to 52millionproject.org to start giving your $1 a week today. But thank you again to Kelly and Jennifer, and thanks to the entire Relief Nursery team.
Thank you so much, Imran, and thank you to all of the 600+ donors that supported us this week. And we wish you the best on your endeavor and great success.
Thank you.